This is the thinnest iPhone Apple has ever made, just 5.6mm thick and weighs 165 grams. The question is though, is the iPhone worth purchasing right now? So sitting our lid to the side, we get to see our iPhone for the very first time. We'll definitely take a closer look at that a little bit later on. With Apple now, we do have the removal of our power brick for several years now. Apple also recently introduced the new braided cable, which I'm a big fan of actually. I'm really enjoy using these and I feel like they last for a lot longer. But we'll use this USB-C to USB-C cable to charge our 3149 millionth hour battery and up to 50% in just 30 minutes. Underneath our cable is our paperwork. So you're going to get a quick start guide, helpful information, safety and warranty information, as well as a EU energy certificate. And sadly, still no Apple stickers. Moving on to our iPhone, a brief look at the side profile, 5.6mm thick. The camera plateau is slightly larger and has a glossier finish, as well as the bezels on this device and the Apple logo. Can't wait to get in and test this out. We've got our action buttons and volume keys down the left hand side, your camera control and your power button down the right hand side. Then the most important factor of taking off your screen protection. Then of course the first power on, so powering on your device, and I'll walk you through the setup process. But obviously with this device there is no SIM card to install because it is a eSIM model. This was the first one to be introduced into the UK. I am sure that the iPhone 18 series will have a continuation of eSIM. Before I go through the setup process, I want to give you the 5 features that define the iPhone Air. If you didn't follow last September's launch, this phone is easily misjudged. Feature 1. Design itself, 5.6mm thin, 165 grams, and a grade 5 titanium frame made with 80% recycled titanium. This is the thinnest iPhone Apple has ever made, so all your internal components live in the camera plateau across the top of your device along the back. Apple says this is needed to free up more room for battery. Feature 2 is our display, so 6.5 inches Super Retina XDR with ProMotion up to 120Hz refresh rate, a peak brightness of 3000 nits. That's the same peak brightness as the Pro iPhones, and improved anti-reflection too. On an iPhone this thin, this display is doing a lot of convincing for myself. So feature 3 is our chipset. This runs the A19 Pro, the same chip family as the iPhone 17 Pro. So despite the thinness, this is not compromised iPhone. On paper for performance, Apple pairs it with a claimed 27 hours of video playback, and you can also purchase a separate snap-on MagSafe battery accessory, which I'll link in the video description. So feature 4 is our rear camera, so a singular 148 megapixel Fusion main camera that Apple calls 2 cameras in one because it shoots super high resolution and gives you 2 times optical quality telephoto from the same sensor. What you don't get is your ultra wide lens. The single lens decision is the most debated thing about this iPhone. Down the right hand side you'll also find a camera control. So you can press this in once to activate your camera, you can press again to take a photo, and you can lightly touch to switch between zoom lengths. Feature 5, and the one I'm most interested in, is the 18 megapixel center stage front camera. It uses the new square sensor, so it can expand the field of view and rotate from a portrait to landscape without moving the phone, which is incredible. So it means if more people jump into your shot, the bigger the lens will get, so it will go wider instantly without you having to rotate your device. Now I've showcased those 5 key features of the iPhone Air. Let's get it set up together. We're going to select our language, then we are going to select our region or our country. Then we have an appearance option here. At the top right hand corner there's an accessibility icon that you can tap to go in and change the accessibility settings if you wish. If not, you can do a quick default, or you can change it to larger or smaller here if you want to. Then you move on to a quick setup via iPhone. So if you have another iPhone, you can pair them together and you could do a quick setup, or you could set up manually if you wish. As I said, at that top right hand corner, here is your accessibility settings. You've got VoiceOver, you've got zoom, display and text size, you've got motion and other options available in here around touch, your keyboard and your read and speak as well. So that would be your VoiceOver section there if you want to change any settings to help support your setup process. The first option you'll need to do is connect to a Wi-Fi network, then have a data and privacy agreement that you'll need to read through, and you can read through this if you wish, and you can press continue. Then you have your age range change. So who's this device for? Is it for an adult? Is it for a teen? Or is it for a child? Myself, I'm an adult. And then Face ID. So protection is always very key here. So you've got multiple different options, and Face ID is the best option as it'd be the most secure as possible. So just tilting it slightly to the side as I'm filming, you'll get to see me just filling all of my face. So just simply rotating my head and moving my head around to fill in this green circle here, or the lines go green. So you do have the option to use Face ID with a face mask if you wish. Then you need to create an iPhone passcode. So you can change the options from a 6-digit code to a 4-digit code to a password. I'm just using a very simple one here for the process of the video. And again, you get to transfer apps and data from your device. This could be from iCloud, it could be from another device, it could be from a PC, and it could be from an Android device, or you have the option of saying don't transfer anything, which I'm going to select here. Then you have your Apple account, so you need to log into Apple to use all of your apps, the services, to make this iPhone yours. So it's copying apps and data now from my iCloud backup, and then it's saying about transfer phone numbers. So if I want to transfer a phone number here, I could transfer a phone number if I wish, or I could scan a QR code to set up an eSIM. iPhone analytics, so you agree to send data for Apple about your iPhone. So most of the time I would do this. App analytics as well, sending data and information about the apps you use. Apple Intelligence, so Apple Intelligence has improved over time, and I believe we're going to see even more of that iOS 27. And then you've got summary notifications, so it will group your notifications and how you want to group them. Priority notifications, informing you that priority notifications from certain calls, certain contacts, or certain apps will come through at any time. Your camera control is down the right hand side, and that is a button that is sensitive to touch. You're able to control your camera. Then you have your action button down the left hand side, which is above your volume keys. So with your action button, as it is set here, is the silent mode. You can flick to focus, do not disturb, voice enhancements, Shazam, use magnification, or it could just be a solid button. So you could choose what you want. Torch or voice recordings. I'm going to set mine to voice memos, actually, which is really handy while I'm having meetings or if I come up with a quick idea. Then we have Siri, which you can ask questions and get support with. Again, you can press and hold the power button to get that information for you. You may need to set up Siri, so you're asked to do certain phrases. You can tap the bar at the bottom to also type to Siri if you wish. Then improve Siri and dictation, so you agree to send information to Apple. Emergency SOS and crash detection and satellite protection is available, so if you do get stuck in an emergency, you can get support. Then welcome. Our iPhone is all set up and ready to go. One more thing before I wrap up. The reason I'm looking at this iPhone Air now is because we've got even more rumours that Apple is due to release an iPhone Air successor in either September or early spring of 2027. So the iPhone Air is out of the box, impossibly thin, seriously light, eSIM only, and now around £280 cheaper than at launch. So in the next couple of weeks, I will be sharing my review on the iPhone Air. We'll be comparing it with the iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Pro Max, looking at the battery, cameras, looking at the accessibility settings across all three devices, and sharing my personal verdict. Massive thank you to Vodafone, who supplied this device for me. If you want that review in your feed, subscribe and tap the bell. Links to everything will be in the video description. If you have any questions, make sure to drop a comment below. I'm Ricky, this has been Ricky's Tech Talk, and I'll see you in my next video.